My name's Sam Craven, and the shop we're sitting in today is our first location for the Garage Eastie. We've been open about 2.5 years. We're strictly a European maintenance and repair facility. We work on everything from Ferraris to Volkswagens, with the majority of that kind of being your typical Porsche, BMW, Mercedes kind of vehicle. So my business is only 2.5 years old at this point, and I knew I needed good processes to run it. And I had hired a coach super early on before we even opened. And that coach recommended that I look at Tekmetric. And I looked at a lot of other ones. I looked at all of them. Very process focused. I want to know what software is good, what are the pros and cons of each one. And after sitting down with Tekmetric, going through it, getting to test drive it, decided Tekmetric was going to be the right software for us. Not just, then before we opened and we'd done 0 cars, but now that we've expanded to 2 locations, it's still the right software. But the most important thing for me and our vision when we were growing this business is to support whatever it is we could do to support building confidence in the customer that they've taken it to the right place. And so the DVI process, the transparency, the ease of use of the technology for a customer who's never used that type of technology before was everything for us. And the way that we present the Tekmetric DVI is we never just send it to the customer. It's always done with our advisor on the phone, and we're going through every little detail with them. We're spending 10 to 15 minutes with every single customer, and that cuts down on our productivity in a sense. If you think about it kind of like small, that'll cut down on the advisor's productivity. But the reality is, as much time as we spend with a customer, that's why our ARO is $1,600, which is so much higher, from my understanding, is so much higher than the industry average. And to me, that's our secret sauce, is the customer is never making decisions by themselves. And we have show and tell. We have the pictures and video of every little detail of what that is, so the customer doesn't have to just trust us. They get to see it for themselves. I picked car repair for a few things. Number one, I've always loved working on cars. I had a real estate business, but if you go a couple steps back from that, I was a professional race car mechanic, and I worked on Ferraris and Porsches and open wheel race cars, traveling around the country doing that. So cars has always been an easy passion. And I picked car repair because I saw an opportunity to disrupt in a way. I've always been the person, literally until the day I opened the store 2.5 years ago, I was always the person who fixed all of my cars. I worked on everything. Literally since we've opened it, and I've hired such really good technicians, I don't work on my own stuff anymore, which I miss, but at the same time, it's great knowing I've got good people doing it, because everyone complains. Anyone who knows anything about cars complains about everyone else who works on cars, right? It's an inevitability. No one feels like they have a mechanic or anything like that they can trust. And we've got a whole team here that I know I can trust that works on my cars. And so I picked working on cars because I wanted to create a very special customer experience. And through the use of Tekmetric software and really good people and following that process, we've been able to create a really memorable experience where we've been open 2.5 years. We have over 300 reviews, 4.9 Google rating. And if you go in and you read just a few of those reviews, the majority of them talk about, number one, the customer experience, but number two, the technology and the process that we follow with that, because they love the show and tell, they love the DVI, and they don't just have to take our word for it for everything that we're telling them. If I'm wondering how the month ends, or I want to see what the week looked like, it's easy while I'm camping, to get a little bit of cell reception, just whip out my phone, look at it, and see the health of the business. Everything looks good, and it's peace of mind. I can go back to, fishing, off-road, and cooking, doing nothing, whatever it is that we're, thinking about the next place we want to go. Customer service is paramount. It's the most important thing. Understanding the drivers for profitability is second to that. And with the data that Tekmetric provides and the catalyst of a great customer service experience that Tekmetric provides, those are the two things. That the DVI process is so important to us that every car that comes in the door gets a DVI full stop. I don't care if they're here for an alignment. I don't care if they're coming by just to get a car wash, which every car gets washed before it leaves. But every car gets a DVI. Every DVI, I pay the technicians 3/10, and the customer pays nothing. I know there's a lot of shops who will say like, hey, I'll charge you a little bit, we'll do this complete inspection process. For me, that's a value add. I lose money on it. It means we lose money, even more money on our oil changes, more money on our alignments, and some flushes and things like that. But to me, that's just a massive value add to every customer who comes in the door. That they get to see the complete condition of their car, and that creates a track record that we can go through every step of the way. But it's part of our culture. No car leaves here without getting a DVI on it. So when you're growing a business, especially at the rate that we're growing, understanding how your marketing dollars are being spent is really important. Having processes in place to consistently reach out to your existing customers through text messages and emails, it's also really important. And so having a software program, a CRM like Mechanic Advisors, and integrating into Tekmetric the way that it does goes a long way towards driving our growth every single month. Anyone who owns a car that's needed to get a repair has a story about a mechanic that was trying to screw them, right? Or the perception was they were trying to screw them. Being able to show the customer in detail with pictures and the technician's words and everything what is wrong with their car, what is not wrong with their car, helps build a lot of confidence in our ability to be the right place for them to take their car to continue to make repairs and be the caretaker of their vehicle. Starting with Tekmetric from the very beginning was great because it wasn't difficult to learn. I picked it up really quick. The technicians that I had at the very beginning, they weren't familiar with Tekmetric either. And it's been easy. And now every time we hire a new technician, we get a lot of technicians from the dealer who have their own software and ways of doing things. If it takes them a full week to get on board with Tekmetric, it's usually pretty surprising, but most of the time they pick it up real quick, super intuitive, and we're very rarely worrying about whether someone is going to be able to figure out our processes, be it technicians or advisors or parts people or whatever. If you're looking at Tekmetric, I think you should look at two things. How is it going to improve your customer experience and create trust in them to spend more money with you? And how is it going to empower you to run your business and understand your business at a higher level?